Welcome back to Retirement Coffee Talk with Sharice Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, zinniawealth.com or 833-368-3680. If it's time to talk about your retirement, give us a call. Let's talk through it. We'll do that for you at no charge. Well, this is that time when you start thinking about financial things. When you get up to age 65 and you have to file for Medicare, then this whole retirement thing really starts to get real. My wife turned 65 in July, and so I was poking fun at her. I called her Medicare Mavis, and that didn't go over well. That didn't go over well at all. All right, but but you have a window to file. We're both still working. That adds into some complications there. Part A, Part B, all this different stuff. So, Sharice, what do we need to know? There's a window here. Is it 3 months before, 3 months after? You've got to file, even if you are working and even if you have benefits, correct?
So let's just talk about when should you be filing.
Okay.
And yes, it is 3 months prior to the month you turn 65 and all the way up till 3 months after. Those are those basic rules. And that's your time period to gather all of your information. If you're working with an employer, you're about to leave, you have to get a letter from the employer that you'll be dropping insurance, you're going onto Medicare. There's so many different steps that have to be taken, but that's your window. And I will tell you, you will start getting calls to your homes or cell phones sometimes 6 months prior to that. You'll even start getting mail sometimes 1 year before you turn 65. But 3 months before you turn 65, I want you to know, you will be bombarded. So get ready. And so I tell all my clients, gather all the stuff you get and just bring them in a box, and we'll go over, what is a Medicare Advantage plan? What is an HMO? What is a PPO? What is a Medicare supplement? Should you keep your employer plan? If they're going to offer it to you, or should you come out to the private world and get one of these other plans? So there's a lot to know, but I will tell you this much. If you're leaving your employer and it's time to go and you're turning 65 and you're getting your insurance, you are in this one-time guaranteed period, right? So that means if you're diabetic, high blood pressure, you've had cancer, strokes, COPD, whatever it is, that you cannot be underwritten. Therefore, you will pay the same price as your neighbor who's in perfect health, right? So this is the time to consider maybe getting a Medicare supplement over an Advantage plan, because if you waited past a certain, 12 months and 1 day, let's say you got a Medicare Advantage plan, or you just stayed with Medicare, and 12 months and 1 day you wanted to get the Medicare supplement, well, what happens? Now they can underwrite you. And so your premium could be higher than your neighbor, right? So there are 100 rules to Medicare that we are all very familiar with here at Zinnia Wealth, and making sure you know before you go. Because sometimes somebody will come in, Randy, and I was like, oh, that employer plan is beautiful. Let's just stay with that employer plan. They're going to give you, $150 every month for the rest of your life just to stay there on top of it to help cover some other costs. And maybe they're not giving that premium back to you, but they just have a great plan. There's some benefits to employer plans as well. So that's a whole nother conversation.
If you're covered by your employer plan, or maybe your spouse's plan, and you're still working, you're going to work till 67, 68.
Right.
So you can file for Part A, which is free. So that's just basically filing, right?
So Part A, you paid through your FICA taxes.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is, let's say you're working and you're going to keep your employer plan and you're collecting Social Security. So it gets trickier. Some people are working and collecting Social Security and they're 65. Medicare is going to send you your Medicare card. It's going to have A and B automatically because you are collecting Social Security. So that when you collect Social Security, it's an automatic trigger that you're going to get your Medicare card.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to get your Part A and you're going to get your Part B. If you're with an employer, though, you probably don't need your Part B because your Part B is going to cost you a premium. And this year, 2024, it's $174.70.
Right.
So if you don't need to pay that, you can sign the back of that Medicare card you're getting and send it back in. And that means you'll just have your Medicare A. And when you're done working with your employer, as long as it's credentialed coverage, there's no penalties to do this or anything. Let's say you're going to work 2 more years and then retire. Then you just send that letter from your employer saying, saying, hey, this is my last day at work, I want my Medicare Part B, then they start charging you that 174 or 70.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I am the Medicare master, and I actually have another Medicare guru in my office.
Love it.
And this is just, we train every year and keep up with our CE credits, and Medicare is one of them. And understanding some of these rules is very, very important, because if you don't do it right, you can have a penalty on your Part B because you didn't do it right, or your Part D, your prescription drugs. And remember, what is Part B? I already said Part A. You've earned through your FICA taxes. That's your hospital visits, those types of things. There's deductibles if you do go in the hospital and you don't get an extra insurance, a supplement, or an HMO or PPO. But then what is Part B? Well, you have to pay for that. You didn't earn that, by the way. That's what they say. Those are your doctor's offices, your labs that you're going to be getting, your what do we call it? In and out of services and these outpatient services centers, emergency room. So you do have to pay a premium for that. And there is deductibles and some co-insurances with that if you just stick with Medicare A and B and don't get a Medicare supplement, or you don't get an Advantage plan like an HMO or a PPO. I could talk for hours, Randy, on this. I think we need to have like a full-blown 1-hour Medicare show and put it on our podcast.
Gotcha.
I don't know if the listeners in the cars want to hear Medicare for a whole hour, but it's so important. It's a very important part of the holistic plan that we're putting together for you in retirement, because it's not just about, hey, we're going to manage your assets. It's just not about your safe money and your income plan. It's also about your Medicare plan. It is, if you get it wrong, it could cause a domino effect for the future, costing you more forever and ever, and you can't ever change it. There's no forgiving. Medicare does not forgive if you didn't do your homework. That's one thing I have learned.
So you said two words that I want you to show me the difference between the two. You said the word supplement and you said the word Advantage plan. What is the difference between those two?
Yeah, so think of it as pay as you go. That's your Advantage plan. Your entire life, you have been on something with your employer, most likely called an HMO or PPO. Mm-hmm. So when you go into Medicare planning now, you can get an HMO and PPO with a company. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of them out there. I can name probably 50 of them. Mm-hmm. So you can continue that way of life where you pay as you go. And most of them, not all of them, but most of them don't have a premium. So when you're working in your working years, you pay a premium for your HMO and PPO, right? You're paying for that most likely, especially if you have family on that plan. When you come into Medicare, as long as you pay for your Part B premium, that $174.70 every month, mm-hmm. most of those HMOs and PPOs don't have a premium. It's just the pay as you go.
Okay.
And the deductibles aren't as steep as what you had when you were working. So Medicare is definitely more favorable costs, in my opinion, over the next 30 years, a lot less than when you are under 65 and you have an employer plan or a regular plan. But there's some hoops you have to jump through. So it's a pay as you go. Most of them don't have premiums, and your prescription drugs are typically included. And some of them have, a gym membership. Some of them even give you over the counter drugs for free. Some of them even give you part or all of your Medicare Part B premium back. That Part B, your doctor's offices and labs at $174 you pay every month. Some of them give that back to you, just depending. So anything that sounds too good to be true, Randy, typically is. And I, with caution, tell people be very careful with Advantage plans. I have seen many people not get the care duties that they need, not get the prescription drugs that they need, all because it was a free plan. And it's really derailed a lot of people, and they've had to go back to regular Medicare and a Medicare supplement. But let's talk about the Medicare supplements. Medicare supplements, you get to keep your original Medicare A and B. You pay for your Part B, which is what we just discussed, $174.70 every month. But then you're also paying for a plan. So you could have Blue Cross Blue Shield Medicare supplement, F plan, G plan, N plan, lots of different plans. You could have AARP, you can have Humana, but you are paying a premium for that plan. And depending on your zip code and where you live in the county, those plans could cost you $100 a month all the way to $200 a month. Sometimes a little bit more. So if you're paying for Part B, $174 a month, plus you're paying for, let's say, $100 supplement plan, Well, now you take 174 plus 100, that's 274. And then let's say you buy a $26 prescription drug plan. So you're at $300 a month for your insurance. That's just for one person. If you have two people living in a household, that's $600 a month. But what I absolutely adore and love about having original Medicare and having that Medicare supplement, you are paying for freedom of choice. So if you can afford it, I'm telling you, I don't know too many hoops I've ever had to jump through with clients to get the drugs that they need, to get the service that they need. And you can go anywhere in the United States as long as it's medically necessary, and that doctor takes Medicare.
Well, these are the things that you can discuss with Charisse. And what's great about having a financial professional in your life is when these things come up, you've got somebody to bounce it off and get some expertise on it. Give us a call. Let's talk about it. Let's go through doing the math on your retirement. We call it a portfolio x-ray. We'll do one for you at no charge. And certainly Medicare is going to be a part of the conversation. ZinniaWealth.com is our website, ZINNIA wealth.com. You can hit the gold box there. It says complimentary retirement consultation, or give us a call at 833-368-3680. Again, 833-368-3680.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Coffee Talk podcast. If you have questions or would like to begin the process of building a tailored retirement plan, call Zinnia Wealth at 833-368-3680 or find us online at ZinniaWealth.com.
Charisse Rivers is an investment advisor representative of Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Charisse Rivers is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Charisse Rivers, NPN Insurance License Number 8718011.